Okay, so these are two formulas that you should probably put in your cheat sheet. We know that for any probability distribution, we have our outcomes, right? So we can have them as X and then our probability of it occurring right next to it. Okay, it's just how we did in the previous problem. Now, something that we can also do with this is find the expected value, or what we call the mean. Okay, so the mean or the expected value of something occurring is just adding all the probabilities and multiplying it also by the outcomes X. So here X represents the values for outcomes. And here, P of X is also the probability, okay? SD of X is just a standard deviation, okay? So we can also find the standard deviation with probability incorporated, and it's just this huge formula. Now, usually this can be a little hard. This one's actually the easier one, so I will put easy. This one's a little bit harder, but you'll see how to do this. So the first thing that I want to do, so maybe put this into your cheat sheet. Make sure that you put that in your formula sheet because you may need it. This is for any probability distribution that is expressed as a table. So let's do the problem that we did before. So the problem before, so we wanted to find the expected value and the standard deviation. Okay, so from the previous problem, we said that our probability distribution was something like this. So we said that this was $10 was 2 out of 6, negative 15 was 1 out of 6, and $0 when it was 3 out of 6. Now we already did the expected value. Okay, so the mean or the expected value of this probability, well, that was just multiplying all of the x's times the probabilities. That's basically what this is saying. And then this means just summing everything up. So it's going to be 10 times 2 out of 6, which is basically all that we did before. 1 out of 6, and then 0 times 3 out of 6, and I think we got 0.83. So this is actually the mean. Okay, the mean of this probability distribution is 0.83. Okay, so my expected wins. Okay, now my probability distribution, sigma, is going to be the square root, and I'm going to use the easy one, the sum. So I'm going to add up all the squared x's and multiply them by the probabilities, and then after that I'm going to subtract it by the mean, which is basically this 0.83. Okay, so this is how we're going to do it. We're going to take the square root. Okay, first I'm going to take the square root. I'm going to make it big. The first thing I'm going to do is going to take all of my x's, okay, and I am going to square them. Okay, so I'm going to take all of my x's, 10, and I'm going to square it. I'm going to take this negative 15, and I'm also going to square it. I'm going to get the 0, and I'm also going to square it, because that's what this tells me. Okay, the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of my probabilities, and I'm going to multiply it by my squared numbers. So this is going to be 2 out of 6. This is going to be a 1 out of 6. This is going to be a 3 out of 6. That's what that blue is telling me to do. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this summation, and this means that I'm going to add all of these together. Okay. All right. Now, the last thing that I'm going to do is take the mean, right, that I found in the previous problem. That's going to be, I don't know, this color, minus the mean, which is mu, which is this part, 0.83, and I'm going to go ahead and square it. Okay, so that should give me, that should give me my answer. Okay, will give me the standard deviation. You can write sigma, you can write SD of X, or sigma, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug all of this into my calculator. So I want you to try it out on your own. Okay, so I am going to put this all into my calculator, times 2 out of 6 plus negative 15. I'm going to square that, times 1 out of 6 plus 0. Well, that one's easy because this is just going to go away. So I don't really need that. Anything times 0 will give me that. And then I'm going to subtract 0.83, and I'm going to square that. Okay. And what I should get is 8.38. Okay, I hope this is the right answer. Double check in your calculator. Make sure that everything is squared. Make sure that also this negative 15 is in parentheses so that you can square it. And this should be my final solution. One thing that to really watch out for is make sure that you square root the entire number. Okay? And this is basically how you find the mean and the standard deviation of a probability distribution. So in class, we will do a little bit more of these. In the next video that I'm going to do, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the binomial distribution. Okay?